Gail Dudley with your news in motion. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in the room, people. It is Monday morning, y'all. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, y'all. Let me see you show up in the room so I know that you can see me and I can see you. To everyone who's on all the other platforms, good morning to you as well. It is going to be a great day. I see y'all coming up in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, y'all. Let me know who's here. Go ahead and put in the chat. Y'all know this is the weekend. We come off the weekend. Go ahead and put in the chat what you did this weekend. We want to know if you've done anything amazing, wonderful, backflips, bucket lists, whatever. Just put it in the chat. You may get called out this morning. So go ahead and put in the chat. I see y'all rolling up in here on this Monday morning. Good morning to you. What did I do this weekend? I chilled. Well, no, that's not true. Well, I kind of chilled, but it was still fun. I went to my nephew's football game, and I understand it was the first time he caught an interception. So my nephew said to me, my great nephew played football. My nephew said to me, well, you're going to have to come to the rest of the games. That's the first time he ever caught an interception. I said, I got it like that. I see y'all coming in here, so I did do that. And then I left his football, and it was cold out here in Columbus, Ohio. Let me tell you, I was actually in Westerville at Westerville Central. My great nephew plays for Pickerington High School, so I went to that game. And then from there, I went to a retirement party. It was a drive-through party, and she's on here with us most mornings, and that is Anita Overflow Dawson. So she retired from Nationwide Insurance, and so she had a drive-through retirement party, so I did that. What else did I watch? Some movies. I watched some crazy movies. Some I won't talk about because they might be a little bit too much for you. But anyway, I had a good weekend. I had a really good weekend. And my nephew can really play football. He really can play. You know, sometimes how us as parents or our siblings will speak highly, like, oh, they can do this, they can do that. He can really play. He can really play. And I don't know about the referees in this high school game. It was crazy. At the end, I was like, okay, what just happened? Why was he just throwing flags on the Pickerington team? Help me understand what was going on. But all of those things happening. So let me know what you all did. I see Diane said she went to Gatlinburg. Yes. Was on the Sky Bridge with her daughter. Yeah, it was National Daughter Day as well on Saturday. So shout out to my daughter. Love her dearly. I saw some beautiful pictures. I saw some beautiful pictures of daughters, of granddaughters, of goddaughters, of nieces. It was just absolutely beautiful. The pictures were just fabulous. They were beautiful. See, Cherie said she watched Clickbait. Good mini series. It really was. We had clickbait all weekend with Kelly Price. Hashtag Kelly Price. I'll get to that in a moment. John Gore said Jonell's birthday. Yes, Jonell had a birthday. She would turn 40. Y'all, Jonell, let me tell you about this with the Gore family. See, some of y'all don't know the hookups and the closeness. We've been friends, the Dudleys and the Gores were actually, I think it was the Pryors and the Gores, and then Kevin Dudley came in from somewhere. Had a relationship. We all went to church together. And then Kevin and I, of course, got married. John Gore and Judy Gore introduced Kevin and I together. Kevin chased me. Don't listen to his story. Here's the real story. You heard it right here from my lips to your ears. He chased after me. He loved him some me. So then he popped the question, but we could all thank John and Judy Gore for connecting us together. Kevin Dudley popped the question, and then I had the whole entire Gore family was in the wedding, and Jonell was a flower girl. So when I hear that she's 40, it's like, what? That was my flower girl at my wedding. So that's happening. Let's see. Dr. Kim Carter said she attended a friend's virtual wedding and reception, and it was beautiful. All right, y'all got it going on. John Gore, stick with my story. Stick with my story. My story is right. All right, y'all, we got a lot to cover. And then we have Kim Edmondson in the virtual green room. And Kim Edmondson is coming to talk to us about wealth building. She's not telling us what she is hearing or reading. She is telling us what she has experienced. Trust me. you want to get your friends and you want to get your notepads and pencils and paper and take notes. Let's see. Pastor Annette says she performed a couple of days of interviews, rested, cooked, and then took a long drive. Girl, isn't it so refreshing to take a drive? Donita says she went to Cleveland for her cousin's 60th birthday. Kenya says she watched the baby go on his first homecoming. I saw the pictures, Kenya. That was beautiful. My sister Patricia said she drove to West Virginia. Look, that was her grandson also playing football. Ooh, Lord. Trust me. She got her exercise on Saturday. Pastor Antoinette said Earth, Wind, and Fire concert. All right. She said vaxxed and still masked. That's what I'm talking about. All right. And then Pastor Antoinette said her and her husband, what she calls the bishop, has moved. All right, y'all. So much going on. I'm glad you've had a great weekend. I know I did. So let's go ahead and do what we do. We got to get this party started. All right, everybody, we're back. Here's the headlines in her own words as she balances the moderates and the progressives in the caucus. Here's a direct quote from Politico from Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And, she had her finger pointed when she was saying it, too. I watched it live. She goes, let me just say, we're going to pass the bill this week. That's what she said. She said that on ABC this week, earlier on yesterday, declining to offer specifics about the vote time. She later added, I never, and it's funny. I think Nancy got a little bit of us in her because she shook her. She said, I never bring a bill to the floor that doesn't have the votes to pass. And that would be true. Y'all, the vote was to take place today. However, she knows the votes are not there at the moment. So, of course, she got the whip. That's the majority whip. James Clyburn is doing what he does, right? Now, y'all, the whip, again, as a direct party member, goes out and stick to the part, make sure the party is sticking to what they had agreed upon, certain issues, and directs them how to vote per the direction of the senior party members. Because the last minute schedule change comes as Pelosi and her leadership team enter one of the most consequential legislative weeks in years. House Democrats will attempt to pass not only public work bill, which is $550 billion, that's with the B, in new spending, but also a mammoth domestic bill with a price tag of up to $3.5 trillion. There you go. We got billions and trillions. All right. And they just playing around, but no, Nancy ain't bringing it to the floor. And she did just like this. And I was like, look at all this. And she says, I never. And she even I was like, oh, Nancy, say what you say, do what you do. All right, y'all. In other news, Amtrak train carrying 141 passengers and 16 crew members derailed in Montana on Saturday. Left at least 3 dead and multiple injured. That story continues to unfold. And as we get more information, we will make sure to keep you up to date. Now, y'all, it has been said that he is the first to have allegedly, I saw with my own eyes, I don't know why I'm saying allegedly, but allegedly quit in the middle of a game. Yep, Kevon Pope of OSU football team, I guess he said peace 2 fingers through his gloves, tried to take off his jersey, and it was just the start of the second quarter. I still don't know what was going on there, and this story is still unfolding as well. I am currently trying to work with someone who knows this field to come and talk with us. Not so much about the players, but so much about this now you get paid. And I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing this more and more where the football players saying, I'm not getting the time I need to get paid. So guess what? I'm going to just quit and transfer in the transfer portal on out to somebody else. Is this about to go just buck wild? Because to my understanding, OSU since the spring season has lost 6 to transfers. And it's all about give me my money. Show me the money. But anyway, that's happening. I'm sure it's probably pretty awkward when he went back to the dorm. If he stayed at the dorm with his roommate, because his roommate is another football player. Now, he's a senior. Whoo, child, that's just too much going on there. Yeah, Elizabeth said, I think there's more going on than that. I do too. But he just was like, I quit. And then he went to Twitter and then he retracted his statement in Twitter. And I'm like, what is going on? Other coaches and teams and players and people were all talking about this. I said, this don't look good for you. It doesn't look good for you. Now, y'all want to talk about live television? Y'all say what y'all want to. But Joy Behar and Sarah Haynes worked that out on Friday. Friday, The View. This is live television, y'all. And things happen when it goes live. But I think they handled it pretty well. I think they did with what they had to work with. Well, we know Sonny and Anna was asked to leave the table because the vice president was supposed to come out on the stage at the table. Well, I guess they tested positive, but now we know that it was a false positive. So they had to leave. Now people got all kinds of other stuff going on talking about it. They was like, why did 2 brown girls test positive and had to leave? And then we find out later that they was a false positive. Now it's all kinds of conspiracy theories. It is a little interesting. But at the same time, and then VP wasn't comfortable to come out, which I understood. They cleaned down the table. They kept saying she was coming out, but then they had to keep going to commercial. Commercials probably owed them all kinds of money. It took so many commercials. It was absolutely crazy. And then when she finally came on, that she had like 5 minutes. I get what y'all doing, but come on, y'all, throw that to another day. Y'all see she can do it virtually. Let her be in her office and have her come back so questions could be answered. That was just buck wild crazy. But hands off, kudos to Joe Behar and Sarah Haynes. They rocked that. Y'all play with Sarah if y'all want to. Sarah is thebomb.com. I love me some Sarah Haynes. They worked that out. So there's that. And speaking of COVID, 7-day average, 119,883 new cases. Yeah, that's a 7-day average. Yes. You're right, Dr. Carter. False positives happen. Yep, that's why retesting is important. Yep. Yeah, deaths. Now I'm giving you the CDC numbers because these are scary. And the World Health Organization is a little bit higher than that. But we have 684,884 deaths. Again, 684,884 deaths. Now, y'all, under the WHO, World Health Organization, they have assembled a team of about 20 scientists to renew the search for the origin of COVID-19. Experts are warning that time is running out to uncover how a pandemic that has killed more than 4.7 million. Let me read that again. How a pandemic that killed more than 4.7 million people around the world started. So we have that. Now, I don't know what y'all was doing this weekend, but listen, this worked my nerves. And I stayed up to watch her come out and say she really isn't missing. But don't do this. Now, when we first wrote this on Saturday, we had a question, have you seen her? Hashtag find Kelly Price. Now, she broke her silence on late last evening, and I'm glad she did. But y'all still got questions. Now, we don't have time to roll into this today, but I still have questions. I still have questions. She breaks her silence, and other people still have questions too. Now, here's the truth, y'all. She has been battling COVID. Now, let me get real serious because COVID's nothing to play with. She has been battling COVID. Went to the hospital, and from her mouth to my ears, I heard her say she flatlined, which means she died, and then they brought her back. Now, praise God, they brought her back. And praise God, she's here to be able to talk about it. Now, that's the serious side. Yeah. And now she's on to a road to recovery, and she's saying she's having some lung damage, and it's going to take some time, some rehabilitation. So now it's called long COVID. You're right, Cherie, it's called long COVID. So now that I have the seriousness out the way. All right, now listen here. We've been looking for you since Friday. Now, you was calling the wrong people, and your 27-year-old daughter didn't know. Neither did your 29-year-old daughter, where some celebrities sent him from California to Atlanta looking for you. Now, Cobb County police can't find you. They didn't put you on the missing list. They put you on the national missing list of persons. Come on now. Now, you was missing. Well, I guess you weren't missing. You pretended to be, I don't know. But we was worried about you. Now I wasted a lot of prayers praying that you was okay. Now, thank God you're okay. Thank God. I don't know what you've gone through. And I get it. You wanted to get away. You were tired of people calling your phone, and you were tired of people coming by your house, ringing the doorbell, and leaving you get well packages. Now, you're a celebrity. You need to expect that. That shows how much people love you. Now, by Friday night, Saturday morning, and you knew that everybody was looking for you, you needed to go ahead and come on live and just show a picture and say, here I am. I'm okay. Forget all the rest of it. Now, the police couldn't find you. So something else is a little wonky here. But you done messed up. We done messed up. I done wasted 2 days praying for you. Yeah, I'm glad you okay. I'm glad you're good. Don't do that again. Don't. Now, when you come out with a song, you better make a song that's going to make the world turn around. Serious, and I'm going to still support you. I'm going to still buy your stuff. I am. But don't do that again. Now, y'all, on all seriousness, and it's already being talked about this morning, that's why police and investigators do not take us serious. 3 investigators said that this morning on the news. They're like, well, see what happened? These celebrities, they do these kind of things. And so we think, oh, there's nothing to it. See, that's the messed us up. Now, I get it. You want to go back into your silence, and you deserve that. Then you got mad that people got in your business. Don't play with Black Twitter. Don't play with Black Twitter. Don't play with Black Twitter. Black Twitter done found out you're married. So your children, your aunties, and your sister found out from Black Twitter that you're married. You got married in November 2020. You didn't want nobody to know that. But you came out with that big old ring on yesterday, flashing it all around, talking about my husband with a smile on your face. That's cool still. That's your business. But you want to like, why y'all in my business? We looking for you. That's why we in your business. Black Twitter found out your husband got domestic violence charges, stalking charges, and everything else. Now, you wanted all that under wraps. But you brought this upon yourself. Black Twitter don't play. Black Twitter are better investigators than the police we see every day, Kelly. Come on, Kelly. You sing about this Jesus. Now, why are we talking about Jesus and you, Kelly? You need to go reconcile with your sister because you singing that stuff. Now, you done messed up the Christian face now. Acting like I ain't talked to we estranged, we ain't talked to each other for a year. Okay, now come on, let's reconcile this. What would Jesus do, Kelly? Now I love you, I want you to get well, and I'm praying your immediate healing because we need to talk. We need to talk. What y'all saying over here? I said to myself, does she have an album dropping? Was it PR? Annette says, married. Nawana says, right then, they don't look for our missing brown girls who are seriously missing and in trouble. And that's why I'm mad, Nawana. That's why I'm mad. Yeah, y'all got worked up on that. Send a smile and signal Morse code. Yeah, tell us something. John Gore, Gail spanking her. Look here. I don't play that. No. I didn't sleep. Thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen to her? And then with the husband and not letting people in the house, I'm like, oh, this don't look good. There we have it. Now, the next time, somebody ain't going to believe us. All right, y'all, football. Browns beat Bears 26-6. Falcons beat the Giants 17-14. The Bengals beat the Steelers. Latrice, you on here? Hello, Steelers. What happened to y'all? 24-10. Ravens beat the Lions 19-17. Raiders beat the Dolphins in overtime, 31-28. The rest of the scores, or you can just Google them and find them right there. Y'all, I'm just so excited about what's next. And I'm so glad I still was able to get in all that I need to get in because the rest of this time goes to this woman right here, my friend. I was on her boat. She got a boat, y'all. Listen, I'm telling y'all. Wealth building. Let me tell you. John Gore said, great football weekend. Yeah, it was. It really was. Yeah. How about them Browns? I'm still Steelers for life. Okay, y'all going to be Steelers for life. All right, y'all. So we're going to build some wealth this morning. Kim Edmondson is employed full-time as a vendor's relationship manager at Nationwide Insurance. Kim has a degree in accounting and has spent many years in the financial services industry. In addition to working in corporate America, Kim now spends her time as a part-time investor. Y'all, she can really break off some stuff to us. and health and fitness coach. She's a part-time investor and health and fitness coach. Kim has a passion for educating others and helping them achieve their goals. She is a proud wife and mother of two. And I can speak to this. Kim, I love to be around black and brown people who have no problem saying, let's talk. And then we can push each other. We can receive each other. They have no problem sharing their information because they don't believe in reinventing the wheel. And this is who she is. So let me bring her in here. What's up?
Hey, everybody. Good morning, News in Motion and family.
Good morning. Y'all, she wants y'all to know she has not had all her coffee.
I have not had my coffee.
Listen. So, look, I want to chit chat because I want you to break off your truth, and I know you are doing it. So, I know you're getting ready to share with us a story of how you got there. But if I can just start with this one question, how does it feel to be building wealth?
It feels awesome and amazing. And I will tell you, as I'm sharing my story, it's never too late. And I hope somebody walks away with that today. So I'm excited to share.
I love that. It's never too late. Well, I'm giving it to you, so take it away.
All righty. Well, family, I am going to share some personal information I don't normally share. It's probably been a really long time since I've had to tell this story, but I feel like it's so important because one, I think it's a lesson for young people. And I know we have young people that tune in to Gail's show. But two, as I said, it's never too late to reach your financial goals. So I'm gonna revert back to early childhood. And when I say early childhood, I mean like 3 years old. And for me, my financial journey started when I turned 3. What happened is that my biological parents passed away they died in a car accident suddenly. I wasn't involved, but they passed away. And I went to stay with family and stay connected with my family. And I had a great uncle that took the life insurance money from my parents after they died. And what he did was put it in a trust. And I know we don't talk about that very often, but that's just a part of the journey. Anyways, so he put it in a trust that I could not touch until I was 18 years old. I didn't even know about this trust. I grew up in a middle-class family, hardworking parents, lived, modestly, having no clue that I had money set aside in my name. But when I turned 18, my uncle says to me, Kim, all this time, I put away some money for you. Now that you're 18, you have access to this money. He literally took me to a bank. He sat me down. I signed some papers, and the bank wrote me a check for $125,000 at the age of 18. Like I said, I lived a modest life. I didn't know anything about how to manage money. I didn't even have a job. But what he told me at that particular time, he tried, let me put it this way, he tried to tell me 2 things. And when I say, I hope that young people get a lesson from my journey. He tried to tell me at 18, when I got this check, he said, first thing you should do, Kim, is buy a house. And I said, Uncle Wiley, why do I need a house? I'm 18. I'm in my senior year of high school. I'm living at home. I'm about to go to college. I didn't understand what that meant. He said, trust me, if you buy a house now, you can take part of this money. You can buy the house, keep it, even if you don't live in it right now, rent it out, come back to it later. Well, I didn't like that idea. I'm 18. I didn't know any better. But so he said, okay, well, if you don't want to do that, then how about this? He gave me another option. He said, Kim, how about we put this money in an investment vehicle? At the time, he said, let's put it in a CD, put it in some CDs that you could still have access to the money, but it's going to grow while it's sitting there. I wouldn't have access to it right away, but what I would do was live off the interest. I said, you know what, Uncle Wiley, that sounds like a good plan to me. Because what he told me was I could still get some money coming in. And from that, I was able to get like $500 a month based on just the interest that was drawing off of that $125,000. But I made one wrong move. I think before we even left the bank, after I had signed that money and they had sent me a check, I said, does this mean I can buy a car? And he said, yeah. He said, we can take part of that money, buy a car. So I'm a senior in high school. I buy this cute red car. Everybody that knows me in high school knew my car. You could see me coming a mile away. So I paid cash for that car and took that car with me to college. Well, when I get to college, I didn't have anybody around me to tell me what to do. I'm driving my cute car. I'm living my best life. And I start thinking about all the things I can buy. Mind you, I'm still getting the $500. I got my cute car that's paid for, and I'm just on a different level at this point. So fast forward a couple of years, guess what happened? All that money, I blew through all that money, quick, fast, and in a hurry, because I became a consumer. I consumed everything I could. I started renting apartments. I had them fully furnished. I did it all. And I upgraded my car, got a fancier car, and I kept consuming. Look up, a few years later, all that money is gone that my uncle had invested for me. But that's not the end of my story, and I'm so grateful to God that he gives us many other chances to get it right. So I'll jump forward a little bit. From there, I started my family, and I started working at Nationwide. And I started learning about financial vehicles. Still not real bright. I mean, I'm getting information, but I'm not really understanding what it means. I open a 401k. I'm giving a little bit of money to it. Not really thinking about it though. I open a Roth IRA annuity because I work in financial services. They said, hey, this might be a good idea. So guess what? I opened that as well. I opened it up when my first son was born. But I'm still not really understanding the power of these financial vehicles. I didn't understand CDs. I didn't understand real estate and housing. I didn't understand 401k and retirement plans. I didn't understand Roth IRAs. I did it, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the number one concept when it comes to building wealth, and that is that your money should be working for you. You should not be working for money. I did not get that concept at all. So young people, hear me out. Even older people, hear me out. That is the number one thing that you have got to flip in your brain, is that if you want to build wealth, you cannot keep working for more money, more stuff. Your money has to work for you. And so I did all those kinds of things. We actually had a financial planner. My husband and I had a financial planner early on in our marriage. He told me one other thing to do, and he said, open up a mutual fund. So we took a little bit of money, we contributed to that for a little while. And then after a while, our kids started consuming all of our money. This is real talk. I believe my children are my greatest investment, and I don't regret anything that I did. I kept them in private schools their entire lives. And so all of my money started going towards that investment instead of going towards some of these other accounts that I had opened up. Mind you, I still kept a little bit going, but I was not maximizing it. So I'm working. I put my kids through school. I look up at 50 years old, January of 2019. I look up, I'm 50 years old, and I'm thinking about what is my next life. My kids are now grown. They're in college, but they're grown. And I'm thinking about, what does our future look like past 50, going into our 60s, and so on and so forth. So I had to come to Jesus meeting. And literally, y'all, I had to sit down and have a long talk with God. Like, how do I get where I want to be in the next, 10, 12, 15 years? Because at this point, I have very little savings. I have, I have all these financial vehicles that I had opened, but I had not maximized. And I'm looking like I still have 2 kids in college. How am I going to get through this season? And this is post-COVID, right? So this is, right before everything shuts down. I come up with a plan. The first thing I did, I wrote a goal. I wrote an enormous retirement goal in my planner. And I said, this is what I'm working toward. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I knew enough to be dangerous, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I had to take some drastic steps. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that you cannot build wealth on easy street, that's what I mean. You cannot continue with a lifestyle of the consumer and still build wealth. So I had to go back to the drawing board and look at where it was my money going. And I realized it was running my life. And I didn't like that. I was not down with that. So I figured out a plan that worked for me where I put my money to work. Every dollar I have has a job, and I know where it's going at all times. But that was a process. It took me probably a good 6 months to figure out how to make my money work for me. But I did it. And when I did that, I became so much more free in basic living because I had a different focus. I no longer wanted to consume every dollar. I learned how to pay myself first. I paid God first, and then I paid myself second. And that's a concept as well that we don't normally talk about. Paying yourself first. We feel like we got to pay every bill. We got to, do all these other things. But guess what? If you don't put yourself first, you're going to be last. And that's not where you want to be. So what I did is, as I was working through my finances and my plan, I learned that I could start where I was. And where I was less than what I had when I turned 18. When my uncle gave me that check, or the bank gave me that check, at 50 years old, I had less than what I had at that particular point. Yes, I had a house. Yes, I had a car. Yes, my kids were in college. We were doing all the things that I thought you should be doing, but the reality was I could have been doing so much more. If I had left that $100,000 in the bank at 18 and let it continue to grow until I'm 50, guess what, y'all? Y'all wouldn't be seeing me, because I would be on an island somewhere. I could have had millions by now if I would have let that money grow, if I had a different plan, and if I could have seen a little bit further into the future. So let me back up again. So I said, okay, how am I going to get to this goal? And I only have this little bit amount of money over here. It just didn't seem real to me. And what I learned was that I could do a little bit at a time. I started listening to financial advisors. I started out with Dave Ramsey. He started yelling at me that I was stupid. And I was like, no, I can't listen to that. So I started following some other people that could talk to me in a way that I understood, that they were like, it's never too late. You can start where you are. And they started giving me tools and resources that I could apply to my life to come up with my own plan. And so I felt better after about 6 months. I was like, yes, I can finally see the light. So I just started working the plan, and I started talking about net worth instead of my bank accounts. And net worth is where you are looking at your assets, those investments, your house, those things that are appreciating and making you money, as opposed to the liabilities. I want my liabilities to go down, and I want my assets to go up. How do you do that? You go back to the principles that my great uncle tried to tell me at 18 years old. You invest in property. Wealthy people do not put their money in, they do not have a lot of cash. They have it tied up in assets. They have it tied up in property and stock portfolios. So I went back to those things that I had opened up early on. I went back to my 401k. I went back to my Roth IRA. I went back to my mutual fund. And I said, how can I start making this work for me? And you know what? When I did that, that's when I started seeing my money grow. In about a year's time, my net worth doubled just from doing some simple things, guys. It is not that difficult if you get a plan and you work it. What I did, I started increasing my contributions 1% at a time. Actually, it started out like $20 at a time. I took what little bit I could from every paycheck I could, and I started putting it somewhere. I started making it work for me. Yes, I had to get my emergency fund. I did that as quickly as I could. Yes, I had to start paying down debt. I started doing that as well. But guess what? I started putting my money to work. I started looking at those investments that I had, and I said, can I get more out of it? And so part of that was just rebalancing what was already there, figuring out take advantage of what the stock market was doing at the time, which had doubled. And so now I'm looking at returns that I don't even if I never contribute another dollar, I've already doubled my retirement account. And that is the principle that I want you guys to walk away with. Compounding interest is your friend. And when you start getting the knowledge, there are so many different vehicles that you can use to get there. But if you start understanding the principle of compounding interest, appreciation, you too can get the same kind of results. And now I am, like Gail said, I'm so excited. I feel so much more free because I am intentional about where my dollars are going. I am intentional about how I spend my money. I am no longer living to spend. I am living to save. And it's not just saving, it is investing. And I could go into like a whole different thing on, all the different investment vehicles. But for now, I just want you to walk away with that one principle. Learn from my lessons. Do not be a consumer. Start saving, start investing wherever you are. It is absolutely possible.
I love this. You had so much there. I was trying to grab some. I know some of the team was putting them in the chat as well. If I can go back to, and I know y'all are running out of time. Those of you who have to go, that's fine. Everyone who's on Patreon, just know that she's going to be coming on Patreon too to do a workshop. Hello. Y'all, Patreon is your friend. Patreon is not about me researching the news. Patreon is about making sure we are investing in ourselves and building this community, not for news headlines, but for your pocket. We're really serious about these series that we've started out. But you said something about 1%. Can you go back and talk a little bit about that again, the importance? And did you do that every week, every month, every quarter? Can you unpack that a little bit?
Yep. So when I first started it, I did 1% once a quarter because I still was trying to work my plan. I was trying to figure out how to reduce my expenses. And I didn't want to not do it, but I knew I couldn't do it like right away. So for me, I started out at once a quarter. But what I quickly learned was that when I refigured out how to manage the rest, I could increase it on a monthly basis. And so that's where I'm at now. And even now, I am continuing to increase 1% at a time, whether it's into my 401k, my Roth IRA, my HSA. I still have that mentality. I'm going to continue that until my savings rate is like half my income, at least. That's my goal right now.
I love that. I got so many questions, but y'all have to catch the rest of this on Patreon for real, because you said so much here. If we were and a few people said it in the chat, if we could just change our mindset instead of buying those $200 tennis shoes or that $600 purse or, that pay, whatever it's called, Afterpay, which, people are now arguing that it's better than your credit card. I don't know, but the bottom line is stop being a consumer and start investing. I think that is so key. Yes. So y'all know many of y'all are ready to run out, but we're going to get the dates. I'll be looking at Patreon as to when she's going to come and share. Again, y'all, Patreon is the place. Again, we're talking, you missed the $5 entry. We let that go longer than we had planned to. We did that all of May, June, July, August, and when we came back in September, it went to $15. Y'all, that's 3 cups of coffee for all the information that you're getting on Patreon. And again, do what you do. Do what you want to do. But listen, it's worth it. It's worth it. So, and some of you may be like, well, what do you do with that money? First of all, News in Motion, Voices in Motion, it is a business. And what we do with that, the commercials you see, we're investing in that. All the platforms we are on, the platform you're on right now, it's not free. We have to pay for it. You may be seeing it through YouTube. You may be seeing it through Facebook. But this costs some money to be able to do what we're doing. We want to continue to bring to you quality programming, quality broadcasts, quality journalism. That's where it goes. It really does. So thank you, Kim. Y'all, our inspirational message for today, our Ministry in Motion message for today is this: invest in yourself. I want all of us to start thinking about our mindsets. I want us to think about, what we are thinking about and really do some hard evaluation with yourselves. I think if I can just share this for a moment, I think a little bit about Abraham. And I think about how Abraham was like, okay, now God's telling me to leave everything and just go. Now he took his nephew Lot with him. Y'all see how that turned out. But he said, just go, just go. So he went. He went. Even when God said, I want you to sacrifice your son now, he didn't ask any questions. He was ready to go. And of course, we know the story. There was a ram in the bush. Y'all, if we would just sacrifice and go, if we would just be still, hear the voice of the Lord, sacrifice and go, things that you think you have to give up, you're not going to have to give up. It's actually going to multiply if it's for your good. Yeah, this is where we have to start trusting Jesus. I am committed to continuing to bringing you content like this, along with voting, which you'll have a whole day tomorrow hearing me talk about headlines and voting. Because, y'all, this is getting serious when it comes to this. So even when we have to make decisions to do things, when we come to the table, sometimes we have to come to the table with money, even when it comes to voting. We're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. So we have to position ourselves now for what's to come. And don't think it's about to get easy. Not at all. It's about to get difficult. So y'all, you make it a great day. Y'all know what I say. Listen, you do what you want to, but let's make some moves.